Hello, welcome to Smalley's Math 2413 Winter Semester 2017, which is technically spring of 18 in our scheduling. It starts December 2017. And this video is designed to give you just kind of a walkthrough of where everything is and what you're looking for in the course. I'm hoping that helps save you a lot of time and confusion on knowing, where to go and where to start, because that's kind of tough. And especially in a 4-week class like this, you don't want to waste a lot of time trying just to figure out what to do. So, well, anyway, at this point, you would have had to, if you've never been in D2L before, you would have had to pass some little quiz that you only have to take one time. So if you're successful, you're in. So I logged in. This isn't quite what it looks like for you, I believe. I'll switch roles for a second. So yours will have some sort of green start button on it or something. Yeah. So let's see what we got going on here. Now, the main thing for you, as far as you're concerned, are content, grades, and assessments. Communication, obviously, if you want to email me or whatever. All right, let's go to content. And here it's showing you course intro video. And this first section of the course content over here, syllabus and other sorted files. The syllabus is in there, just a kind of a dumping ground for how to where I put various files that don't fall under any other specific category. Let's just pop up syllabus and take a look at that. Actually, I'll just bring it up on the Word document I already have here. Or actually, well, maybe I'll show you how to do this. Down at the very bottom of the page, you see there's a download button right here. So there's how you can get it to come out as a PDF. So you can see more of the screen at once. And this is the wrong syllabus. Let's see. That is the wrong syllabus. This is the correct syllabus, so I may have to repost that here shortly. Yeah, there we go. So spring 2018, calculus 2413, blah, blah, blah. Email me. You can use, if you email me while you're in D2L, it will automatically go to my Lone Star email, so I'll see it there too. Sometimes you might want to be careful about using, I know that yahoo.com and some others go to, maybe some other EDUs might go to my spam folder, which isn't a big deal. I'll see them eventually. But in a short time period like this, you certainly don't want me to be delayed in receiving your email. So if you do it through D2L, you should be safe. But I know Yahoo's a famous culprit for just putting it right in the spam folder. All right, okay, we'll skip all this because you can read this anytime. But we're actually using a different book now. But that's okay for this course. We don't really need it. No assignments are going to be required out of it. And in fact, this is the book we've previously used. We might be switching back to here in the next year or so. So I don't want to really modify my course to meet one specific book. In fact, you can use any calculus book you want. If you've got another one you like to use, that's fine. Because there won't be any assignments that are directly coming from certain problems in a book. So everything will be D2L based, so you don't have to worry about that. This is the and in fact, I have a PDF of this Larson book, the 9th edition, posted in the course content. Let me go back there. And in fact, if you're happy with that, you can just use that. You don't have to. Oh, let me go back. Syllabus and other assorted files. Yeah, here you see it's where I'm pointing right there. That's Calculus, 9th edition by Larson. So it's fine if you just use that as your textbook. That's fine. Do not have to buy anything if you do not want to. Let's come back to the syllabus. Okay, graphing calculators are fine, but On the testing forums, I put on there that no TI 8992, which I don't think it's used very much anymore, or TI Inspire CAS. A CX is okay by itself, but not if it has the CAS in the upper right corner. I believe it's right corner, it might be left. Basically anything that can do algebraic stuff. I don't mind that you have the ability to graph and do numerical calculations. I just don't like calculators that can do algebraic things. Now I have some videos here, and I'm also suggesting Khan Academy right here, but I have videos also. And if you are using the Larson book, and if you're trying some of the practice problems in the homework, there's a neat website called calchat.com. It's a free website. I think you can pay for extra services. But it's basically a website where you can pick the addition if you're working some odd problem, and it can show you some steps. It may not show you every step, but it's better than books that just only have the answer in the back. It's like one of those I mentioned right here. It's like one of those just kind of printed solution manuals. It's just like that. So I'd recommend using that. So homework, I just have homework from that Larson book. That's the only list I have right now. That's the only one I'm going to use for this class. So even if you are using another book, you still might want to learn the material. That's fine. And I would, if you're going to have time to do practice problems, I know it's tough in a short 4-week course, but I would do them from the Larson book. So I have that's back in the syllabus folder there. I like to call that kind of a junk folder. Here's a homework list for Larson 9th and 10th if you happen to have a Larson 10th or something. Practice problems there. All right, let's see. All righty. So practice problems, do them if you want. Now there's going to be 10 take-home quizzes. Now these quizzes, you can really almost call them homework sets more than quizzes. It's debatable whether I should name them something else because they're not actually quizzes that you take like the exams where you're taking them in real time where you're answering the question. These quizzes are almost more like homeworks, but you don't need a specific book to do them. What you do is, and this is very important, you come over here. It's kind of confusing, especially when you're new. That's why they're going to be like homeworks. You're going to open up the quiz files. You're going to work the problems, and then I'm going to show you here in a minute where you go to actually submit your answers. So you won't open up the D2L quiz until you're ready to submit all of your answers. So that's very important. So here's each of the PDF files. So you just come in here, you open this up, and you just have a good time. You go through here and take your time and answer all these. And when you're satisfied with your 10 answers, or even if you just have to guess on something, that's fine, to make sure you beat the deadline. Okay, so you say those, you just hold on to those answers, write them down, circle them, whatever you want to do. And then what you'll do is you'll come over here to assessments, quizzes, and you see this quiz 1 in blue. I'm going to click on this, and it says Start Quiz. But once again, do not open that quiz until you're ready to submit all of your answers. Now, one thing you have to watch for, it looks like I have an hour to do this, and it should take about 5 minutes. If you're not answering the questions, you should have already answered them. Well, one thing to be sure and watch for, though, is I don't do this on purpose, but sometimes the problems will scramble the answers, not to try to trick you. Just go through it carefully. For example, if you've worked a problem and you know the right answer is 2.5, I don't care, if it was A on the quiz, it might be the 4th answer choice here, So if you know 2.5 is right, you pick 2.5. So just be careful with that. Go through there carefully, pick your answers. and then you'll submit the quiz. It'll tell you your score, and then you see I have all the dates here for the due dates for the quizzes, and then the exams. The exams have these little padlocks here. That means they are password protected, and the proctor will enter the password for the exam, and that will unlock it when you're taking it in a proctored environment. But the quizzes do not have passwords. You can open them whenever you want to. So hopefully that clarifies that up. That could have been a little confusing. So let's go back to, now let me, before I go back to syllabus, I'm going to come back over to content here. Now the quizzes, you can't actually see your answers until about 1 hour after the deadline. So you have to, it'll show you your grade. We'll put the grade, I know, grade book. I know that can be kind of frustrating, you know. You make a 90 and you take it early and you're dying to know which one you missed. You'll have to wait until about an hour after the deadline. So come back home for a second here. Let's see. So you see how quiz 1 deadline ends on December 22nd at 10 p.m. Now that deadline means, because sometimes in different types of learning management systems it works differently. This one means you just have to open it up before 10 p.m. You don't have to finish it by 10 p.m. So if you open it up at 9:45, you will still have the full 1 hour to submit your answers. Then it's over with. Well, anyway, when it comes time, so let's say you're going to come back. Let's say you're going to come back on December 22nd at 11 p.m. and you want to look at your quiz. You're like going, which one was it that I missed? Now, I'm about to show you how to do this. Back up here. Reviewing quiz and exam submission. So this PDF file will be there for you. I want to click that. So we're going to open this up. Well, I can just do it from right here. So if you go back, and let's say that was quiz 1 or whatever that we were just looking at. If you've submitted your quiz and you go back and click on that quiz 1, that blue quiz again, nothing's going to happen because you've already, opened it up and taken it. And even probably after the 11 p.m., nothing's going to happen. You click on it because that clicking on the blue part means you want to take the quiz. But what you actually have to do once that 1 hour after the deadline is met, you click on the drop down arrow next to it. Then it brings up submissions. That's the key, submissions. Then you click on your attempt, and that will show you your answer choices. So that's often very confusing. So I'm hoping that will help you. Because my instinct would have been, as a student, would have been to click right back on that blue thing again. Oh, now it means I can see it. That is not correct. You have to click it. Like I said, you can't do anything until 1 hour after the deadline. All right. So let's go back to here. And then I think I'll go back to the syllabus, see where we were. All right, so these quizzes, there are 10 of them. 4 of them are dropped. So if you're late for one or you miss whatever, that's fine, no harm. In other words, I don't have time to be extending these in a 4-week class, so you got to meet these deadlines. So the best 6 count. We call that a quiz grade. So obviously, if you got 6 100s, you've got 100. Although just for practice sake, let's say you do make 6 100s in a row, wouldn't hurt to do those other ones just for practice, to help you prepare for the exams. So here it's saying, and like I was just showing you how you have it's in bold there. It's telling you about the PDF file there that you work them out. So, and I'm mentioning that's really not quizzes, and also it's the same thing I just said too about scramble the choices. There'll be 3 in-class exams and a final. Now, the lowest of the quiz 3 exams plus the quiz grade will be dropped. Now, so you'll say you have 4 scores here before the final. The final is not dropped. Exam 1, 2, exam 2, 3, and the quiz grade. The lowest of those 4 is dropped. So oftentimes students will ask me, whether it's face-to-face or online class, they'll go, you are dropping the lowest grade, right? The lowest exam grade. Well, yes and no. To drop the lowest exam grade, it has to be replaced by the quiz grade. That's the key. Now, they might be assuming that when they're asking me that, but I have to be careful when someone asks me, that exact wording. No, it's not dropped, but it's replaced with a quiz grade. So in other words, if let's say your exam scores go 90, 70, 90, and you have a 95 quiz average, the 95 quiz grade or quiz average would replace the 70. But it's just not automatically dropped. So I want to make sure I clarify that too. But yeah, most people will use the quiz grade to replace one of their exam grades. Every once in a while, you'll have somebody whose quiz grade is lower, and that's usually people that are making hundreds on the exam. The quiz grade happens to be lower, so it's all equally weighted here. So those 3 scores, 75%, mean they're all 25% each. The final's 25% each. Now this is something I'm doing this semester, new. See how I like that? I might stick with this. Here it is in red. For the first 3 exams, you're allowed to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of notes, one side only. So you have to decide what you want to learn and what you want to write down. That's going to be key. And then for the final exam, I'm going to let you use the one sheet with writing on both sides. More information for the final. So we're going to try that out and see how that goes. In this class, I never gave formulas for exam. You see here, it says exam 3 formulas and final exam formulas. Yeah, I did give those out before. I won't now. But you can look at those and see what you think is useful for you. And I also always gave this on test, but I'm not going to now. But you really don't need it. I mean, it's just the unit circle stuff. So you can, I don't think you need every single identity on this. Some of this stuff you probably know. In other words, I always gave that sheet, but you're not going to need hardly, especially all that stuff at the bottom, all that. You're not going to need any of that. The unit circle. Well, like I said, if you know the unit circle, then you don't need your note sheet. But heck, I'll leave this posted here in D2L, so when you're making your note sheet, if you put in like a Word document or something, you want to snip this unit circle out, or one you like a little bit better and clearer, you cut this out and put it on your page of notes. So that's what gives you freedom to choose what you want to put on there, whether it's calculus formulas or trig formulas, an example. But I'm telling you right now, you won't need all of this. The double angles are pretty good, best place not the tangent, the sine and cosine, those are good. And if you know all that SOHCAHTOA stuff already, you don't have to worry about putting this on your sheet. So that gives you the freedom to decide and you'll be able to tell by the problems I've done in class and the examples, all that kind of stuff. You'll see that we're not going to do any of this business down here. So that's that way you know what to put on there. So I'll just leave that sitting there, even though I'm not providing it this time. Figure, leave it sitting there, and that way you can decide, like I say, you want to just clip straight off that and paste. That'll be terrific. So we'll see how that goes. Pretty standard grading scale. Here's some information. Okay, we're talking about obviously the syllabus in the video, which the syllabus will be there for the entire term. So will the video if you want to go back and watch it. Okay, so we'll skip that. Textbook, I've kind of already talked about that a little bit. If you do, I mentioned in here, if you have like a book that you've used for Cal 1 that still can't be one that's too old, because if Pearson doesn't support it, they won't. I wouldn't be able to do this. But if you tell me a book, for example, maybe you used My Math Lab on from another school, another campus, wherever, and you would like for me just to go into Pearson and set up a blank course for you to enroll into, where you can just use their resources, I'll be happy to do that for you. But like I said, it's got to make sure it's a book that they're still using. It can't be something 5 editions ago from 10 years ago. But I'll be happy to do that if you like their resources and want to use it. So we can do that, but that's not mandatory. Okay, let's see. Now I'll come back when I go back over to the course content here in a minute. I'll show you all the stuff. Lecture notes, I have lecture videos, and I also mentioned the Khan Academy, or you can just use mine. Textbook, well, once again, you can use the PDF. And I'm just, it's hard for me to tell, you can't really come up with one formula for every student. What's the best way to proceed, but it's a little bit of everything, really. I mean, quizzes and the exam reviews, that's obviously important for the exams, for sure. The exam reviews are much longer. Each exam, regular exam, is going to be 20 problems. I guess I could actually put this in the syllabus now I'm saying it. They're going to be 20 each, and the final will be 30. All right. So let's see. Okay, calcchat.com, talked about that. The exam's going to be multiple choice. I use an adjusted grading scale for each one, so your grade will be score will be higher than your actual percentage. You can think of it as sort of like a partial credit adjustment. It's the same for everybody or something, whatever you want to call it. But I'll put out I think for the regular exams it's 104 max minus 4 points each, but you can only get a maximum, I believe, of 15 points added or something like that. So I mean, I don't want like a 20 turning into a 50 or anything, so the final will be a little bit different. So I'll let you know about that. So your score, so when you take an exam and you see your raw score, you can know it's going to be higher than that. Now here are the exam deadlines for this course. First one's, I believe, Wednesday. It goes Wednesday, then Thursday, then Saturday. Now keep in mind that some people get confused about this. I don't know if it's the word deadline that confuses them. Now, as the time of making this video, I haven't quite sent all these out to the Lone Star Testing Center, but I will on the next day or two. But once I announce to you that the information is sent, those are the deadlines, the last day to take it. That means once I send out the information the next day, probably tomorrow, you theoretically can take the exams anytime up to and including that deadline. I mean, theoretically, you could finish this course in about a week or so. I wouldn't recommend that, obviously, but that means some people think. Well, there's one exception to that. That's for the testing center. I'll make an announcement about this ProctorU thing. If I use this ProctorU, I'm kind of concerned about the security of everything, and testing centers, I know it's protected and that sort of thing. I'm not sure what happens with this ProctorU, but there's a good chance if you are planning on using this, keep this in mind. I might make it to where you only take it on the deadline, because I don't know how well scratch paper can get destroyed and stuff like that. I'm a little concerned. So ProctorU might, and you'll see, I'll write that in an announcement. You'll see it, in print. But there's a good chance those will be the only days. But if you're using a Lone Star College Testing Center or any other testing center, which I'll talk about in a second, definitely Lone Star, that's the last day. You can take it before that, obviously. But not like tomorrow. I still have to get I'll have to get the information sent. I'll make an announcement about that too. So ProctorU, to prevent any possible, concerns about sharing information, it may be the only day you can take it. So, but I'll put that. So just keep that in mind. So when I put that in writing, you won't be surprised. And I'm talking a little bit about ProctorU. Okay, I'll give you that information. ProctorU basically is a source where you can take your exams at home and you set it up through their line, and they're like looking at you through a web. I don't know if they put like a mirror behind you. I don't know, but they try to do a really good job of making sure that you don't have the entire textbook pasted on the wall in front of you when you're taking the test or anything. I think you have to hold your computer up and show them and stuff like that. So it's where somebody is watching you through your webcam. That's a little creepy, but I guess if it's helpful to some people, maybe in a situation like this, in these minis, it could be useful. Because one thing about testing centers is Lone Star's, and this is University Park. I'll see if I can find one for all the campuses. it gets a little tight around the holidays here where people are off, the staff. But they're open some days. But then they're going to have regular hours here the first few days, and they start getting smaller and smaller. But then January 4th, it opens up to normal hours again. I'm going to assume that this is a typo here on Wednesday, January 3rd. I doubt if you can show up there at midnight. That's got to be 12 p.m. But I think after that, the testing center hours it says normal hours. But obviously, whatever testing center you're using is call, and if I can find a schedule, call and make sure what their hours are the day that you're going to go. Remember, it doesn't have to be the last day. Just check and what day you want to go, because you want to allow yourself enough time. I always allow a lot of time for exams, and most people won't need it. Like if I allowed 4 hours for an exam, I'm sure you wouldn't need that much, but you don't want to cheat yourself out of time. You don't have to worry about giving yourself 4, but they'll never give exams within 1 hour of closing. They'll never do that. But you might feel like you need a couple hours or something, which is fine. But don't give yourself only an hour. That's like I said, that's hurt you. But anyway, what I was going to say is the winter mini versus long semesters is, long semesters I often work with, University of Texas, Texas A&M, other fantastic universities. But a lot of their testing centers may not be open during this holiday break if they're not having classes. So that's so things are a little bit tighter. It's good if you can use a Lone Star, or maybe this ProctorU, could work out okay. We'll see how that goes. But relying on other testing centers in the winter mini if you're out of town, that's kind of tough. I'd be shocked if you found one that was going to be. But if you did find one that was going to be open around those days, let me know ASAP, and I'll set up the information with them, as far as proctoring your test. Or maybe it's a situation where you could take a couple of them at Lone Star. Yeah, you don't have to take them all at the same place. Let's say a couple at Lone Star, and you've got to get back to A&M by a certain date or something, and you want to take your third exam and the final at A&M's testing center or something. We can do that. Just you want to make sure that they're going to be open, of course. Once you let me know, but yeah, we can work with that too. So D2L. Stay tuned for any announcements, and the rest of this is just mumbo jumbo stuff we have to put in there. Okay, so that takes care of the syllabus. Let's go back and look at a few other things here, and I'll try to wrap this video up. Sometimes I take a little long. How long am I taking now? Holy crap. Well, let's see if we can speed this up a little bit, but hopefully it'll still be useful even though it's long. All right. Course content. Let me show you everything over here. I just have some notes from Cal 2 and Cal 3 that I posted. People have asked. Feel free if you'd like to download and save those for your own personal use later down the road. Knock yourself out. Lecture notes. I got lecture notes. I have them all organized. So you want to know what stuff is going to be in Exam 1? It will be under the folder Exam 1 Notes. That guarantees it. Now the Larson book, if you look at the numbering of this section, this 3.5, some books actually put this in earlier, some later. You'll see that it kind of fits with the flow of this idea of limits. See everything how limits is? So I took this 3.5 section and moved it up with this 1.5. Because I think that's where I think it should be anyway, in my opinion. It kind of flows there. It just seems weird numerically. And then, so your first test will stop at 2.4. And so they're all, that's kind of, so we know what the test is going to be over. You don't have to worry about emailing me. What's going to be on that test? Let's see. And here's another one. We just added this section. It used to be in Cal 2. Now it's in Cal 1. So that's why the notes have a weird, chapter number there. But here it is, Exam 2. Here's Exam 3. So everything's inclusive in this class, Cal 1, Cal 2, and Exam 1, Exam 2, Exam 3. My Cal 2 and Cal 3 are a little different because I have a few sections that are after Exam 3 that are on the final. But in this class, everything's self-contained. By Exam 3, there'll be no more new material to learn for the final. I just have some old pre-Cal notes in here. I don't know. I've got, let's see, exam reviews. I've got PDF files. Sample for exam 1, solutions to exam 1. Just, me showing me working them out. Obviously, you're better off if you try to do as many as you can yourself, You think, people think, oh, I studied. They'll tell me that I studied for the test by looking at your solutions. Math, if you're not doing it, you're not really learning anything. But, oh well. So you see how they're all grouped? So, exam 1, both pair, 2, 3, the final. And I have videos for these also, too. So not only is it worked out, you can go through and listen to me explain them. Some of these other ones I broke down in smaller segments because I was getting errors when I was recording these videos. And of course, it gets kind of frustrating if you make a long video and then when you're trying to process it, it crashes. It's like, man, what a lot of work wasted there. So I was just doing them segments at a time to make sure that way if something crashed, it wouldn't be devastating. So here they all are, all these videos. Okay. And then also have lecture videos for each of those sections. So it depends on what kind of student, you get my notes out. Look at the notes while you're looking at the video, or you might like to look at the PDF book first. I guess it just depends on how you like to study. I mean, it's kind of, watching the video would be like listening to one of my lectures. You might want to just start right out with that. So I can't really come up with one good formula that works for everybody. Let's see. Okay, we talked about the quizzes already. Let's see, the videos. I think the videos are not organized by exam. They're just big one list. So you can load more, so it's just one big long list of videos. Yeah, they're not. But you see my exam 1 notes folder that has them all organized. Let me look at the syllabus and other content things, see if I missed anything. Homework list. I talked about these formulas, which now I won't be providing because I'm letting you use one side of notes, except for the final you can use 2. Here's testing center info. That's probably outdated. I'll have to update that. Maybe by the time you see this video, it'll be up corrected. But there's a calc chat link and a bunch of other stuff here. So I'll see if I can find if they put out an overall. Sometimes they put out a nice schedule for testing center hours for all the campuses. So just be looking for announcements. Stay tuned. Hopefully, it'll be a good 4 weeks. One thing I'll say is that you're kind of concerned and you might be nervous how people do and stuff like that. I've had just pretty good success rates in 4 weeks. At least are as good or often sometimes better than 16 weeks. Maybe it's because this is the only thing that they're doing and focusing on. But believe me, I would have quit agreeing to teach this class once we started if it would have been a disaster. And 2/3 of everybody was failing, and I said, well, I'm never doing this again. But the success rates have been pretty good. Obviously, it doesn't mean we're giving the store away, so to speak. But I mean, you still got to work for it and earn it. But yeah, it's absolutely doable if you were concerned in that case. So, okay, I think I'll conclude. Let me think of anything else possibly. No, I think I'll just be looking, check detail all the time for my announcements. I got, I believe I showed you the calendar here. I need to do that. Let's go back to this. Let me get back to so you see the calendar of everything due on the right there. So, all right. So I think that'll wrap this up for now. And good luck. And I hope you do very well. And I will be here for you. Thank you.